Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Teaching Autism and Special Education podcast. I'm Nikki, your textbooks queen, visual support enthusiast, and the person who knows what it's like to stare at a blank behavior plan form thinking, how on earth do I make this actually help? So today's episode is all about creating behavior plans that actually work, not just the ones that tick boxes for paperwork and not the ones that sound really fancy in a meeting but flop by Monday lunchtime. I'm talking about behavior plans that feel doable, supportive, and real for both the student and the adult supporting them. So if you have ever felt like your plan looks good on paper, but is a total mess in practice, you're not alone and you're in the right place. All right, let's dive in. First, we are going to ditch the punishment mindset. Before we even get into the plan itself, we have got to check our mindset. A lot of traditional behavior plans are built around trying to fix or stop behavior, but that's not what neuro-affirming supportive education is about. In special ed, especially with our neurodivergent students, we are not here to erase behavior. We are here to understand it, meet it with compassion, and then teach better tools. So we're going to move from how do I stop this behavior to what is this behavior communicating, what skill is missing, and how can I support regulation and success? Okay, let's get started. Step number 1, we're going to start with the why. The first piece of any behavior plan is figuring out the function of the behavior. You have probably heard this already, but behavior serves a function, usually one or more of these. Escape, either from a task, person, or situation. Attention, from adults or a peer. Access to something that they want, a toy, activity, even space. And sensory, it just feels good or regulates their system. And here's the thing, if you don't know the why, your plan will never work. So, observe, take data, use ABC tracking. What happened before? What happened after? And remember, the function isn't always what it looks like. A student kicking over a table might not be angry. They might be overwhelmed and escaping demands. So get curious before you get reactive. Step number 2, define the behavior clearly. Okay, we're going to talk about defining the behavior. And I know, it sounds boring, but I've seen so many behavior plans fall apart because the target behavior was something really vague, like disruptive behavior or meltdowns or aggression. But what even is that? We need to define the behavior so clearly that anyone who walks into our classroom would know exactly what to look for. So try this. Instead of saying tantrums, I want you to say student drops to the floor, cries loudly, kicks his legs, and refuses to follow instructions for a minimum of 5 minutes. That's clear, that's trackable, and it's useful. Be specific, be objective, leave the judgment. Okay, step number 3, support meaningful progress. Here is where I see a lot of teams go wrong because we jump to fix instead of supporting. So we're trying to change a behavior too quickly or setting expectations that just don't match a student's needs. If a student is dropping to the ground 10 times a day, aiming for 0 by next week isn't realistic, and honestly it misses the point. So instead, I want you to think in terms of things like increasing the student's ability to ask for help or a break. So example, using a break card 3 times a day. Expanding their capacity to navigate transitions with support. So for example, with adult help 50% of the time. Helping them feel safe and regulated, so the need for that behavior is going to naturally reduce over time. This focuses on connection, not compliance, and sort of growth and support for our students instead of perfection. That's what we're trying to aim for here. Step number 4, building supports before the behavior happens. This is the gold right here. A solid behavior plan isn't just about what to do after a behavior. It's about what we do before to prevent it. So some examples are visual schedules, sensory support, break cards, pre-warnings for transitions, and sand timers work good for countdowns as well. Offering choices, co-regulation strategies, and reducing triggers. So think of things like noise, crowds, it might even be certain tasks. Your job is to build an environment where your student can succeed before they get to that fight or flight mode. So we want to support them. Step number 5, teach the replacement behavior. So this one's big. You can't just take a behavior away without replacing it with something better. If your student is hitting to escape work, then you need to teach them how to request a break. If they scream for attention, then we need to teach a more appropriate way to connect, even if it's just handing you a card that says, I want to talk, or talk to me. And make sure that you, first of all, model it, second, practice it, and third, reinforce it like crazy when they use it, even if it's messy. The key is make the replacement behavior easier and more effective than the old one. And step number 6, I want you to stay consistent and collect data. Not glamorous, I know, but consistency is everything. Your team needs to know what behavior we're tracking, what supports we're using, what response is expected, when to reinforce, and how do we know it's working. And yes, take data, but make it doable. So things like quick tallies, simple charts, even smiley face logs, whatever works for your setting, just make sure that it's regular enough that you can see trends and patterns over time. Okay, so let's wrap this up with a few extra golden nuggets. Number 1, involve your student as much as possible in a way that makes sense for them. Number 2, keep the plan simple. You do not need 12 pages of jargon. Number 3, review the plan regular and tweak it as needed. And number 4, don't forget about you, your regulation, your support system, your confidence. You matter in this plan as well. A behavior plan is not a magic fix. It's a support system, and it's your way of saying, I see you, I'm here for you, I want to help you succeed. And when you can build that plan, you're going to start to see real change, because you're going to have actual doable steps that you can use on a daily basis. And not just for the behavior either, but this is going to go for connecting and building relationships with that child, especially the trust. And that's what makes it all worth it. All right, that's it for today's episode. If you're feeling inspired to review or rewrite a behavior plan this week, I would love to hear how it goes. Come chat with me on Instagram, Teaching Autism, or check out my behavior visuals and tools. You can find them on my blog, my website, my TPT. And if you love this episode, leave a quick review, share it with your SPED teacher bestie, or even just send me a message saying, yep, more of this. All right, until next time.